And hello again, everybody. Welcome to the David Dean Postgame Report following a playoff victory for the West Georgia Wolves Saturday in Ettrick, Virginia. 35-6 over Virginia State. You look at the score, Coach Dean, and said, boy, it was easy. No, it wasn't. They were a good football team, and they made us play, and I thought we played well.
Well, we did play well, and they are a good football team. There was a reason they came into that game undefeated and beat some top-quality opponents, beat a FCS opponent along the way. They were very athletic, big. They were a little bigger than I thought they were. When you look at them on film, they didn't look like they were that big, but you got in person, and they were a good-looking crew. A very physical football team, and I think our kids played an extremely good football game and beat a good opponent. And really proud of the way that we traveled and played in that game.
Coach, I know 2 weeks ago that our defense kind of got a little vulnerable in the second half. I don't know if that's the right word. But we had that early turnover Saturday, and the defense went out there and said, no, you don't. You're going to stay right where you are.
Yeah, it couldn't have started worse for us. That was I don't know that I've ever been in a wind that was that strong. The first play of the game, I thought Willie made a great read and threw the ball deep. JJ was behind their corner, and the ball just died. I think we have a touchdown right off the bat, or at least a big play. And then unfortunately Brooks catches that little screen pass and doesn't catch the screen pass. He's looking down the field and it's a fumble, and they recover it. But our defense came out there and made a great stand, and that was good to see, especially after the way that they played in the last ball game. I thought the entire day they played outstanding football, and you watch that running back on film and he's scary, and when you see him live, we were tattooing him, and he was still hard to bring down. He is a very, very good football player, but our defense was up for the challenge, and my hat's off to them and the way they played.
And you kept that back and that attack out of the end zone all day. That's a heck of an afternoon.
Well, we did, and we held them to 3 field goals in the game, and that's impressive enough considering they score 44 points a game. But what's the amazing thing is their field goal kicker only kicked 1 field goal all year long. He was 1 of 6, and he went 3 for 3 against us in that game. But again, I can't say enough about our defense. They took the run game away. They did hit us on a few passes, and that's where they got most of their yards. It was in the medium range type passes. We didn't give up any big plays in the pass game. Everything was underneath, and we were rallying to the football. But we were also very good on first down, not giving up a lot of yardage on first down, and then being very good on third down and getting them off the field.
Even that drive late in the half, you mentioned they threw a lot of short underneath things. You made them execute a lot of plays just to get those 3 points.
Well, we did, and that was kind of our game plan going in. We wanted to see if they were, number one, were going to be patient enough to be able to run the ball like they did, and when they did have an opportunity to throw, were they going to be patient enough not to try to take shots down the field? And they were. And I thought they had a great game plan. I think we just out-executed them when it all came down to it. They're a well-coached football team. And, if you get out there and you watch that game, you'll see that it was 2 very good football teams, very athletic football teams. And it just was a matter of our kids just wanted a little bit more, I think, than they did.
Offensively, Devontae had 100-plus yards. They're a good defensive ball club, but you made him some holes, and Willie had some big plays, big runs after the catch in that ball game, too.
Well, we did. Shaq Rowland had an outstanding football game. He made a lot of yards after the catch, and that was big for us because we had to weather the storm in the first quarter. We could not throw the ball deep. We were going to have to throw underneath and run the football, and our offensive line was up to the challenge, opening up holes. Vaught was running the ball very well, but a big key in that first quarter was Shaq and the way that he carried that football after a catch. But then the other thing was not giving up a lot of points when they had the wind. And, our defense stuffing those guys and giving us an opportunity to get the ball back because we did hold the ball for a good long time in that first quarter when we had the wind in our face. And we were able to open it up a little bit more in the second half. And that's what I told our coaches. I said, we just got to weather this storm. We got to play the field position game in the first quarter. And if we can do that, we've got a chance to do some things because I don't think that they're going to be able to throw the ball deep on us. us going back into the wind.
One of those big moments when they had the wind, they overthrew. Montreal Purdue said, "I'll take it." And that I thought, was one of the biggest moments of this football game.
It really was, because they came out in the second half. They obviously hit the field goal right before the half and made it 14-6. So we needed to come out, and I chose to take the win in the fourth quarter. I didn't want them to have an opportunity, if we were ahead, to have the win, to be able to throw deep balls. I wanted them to throw the ball into the wind, and they came out in the third quarter, and they were going to try and take advantage of that win. And Montreal made a great play, and it was probably the turning point in the game, because we intercepted it. He made a great return, got us down on the 20-yard line, and we immediately put the ball in the end zone. And when we did that, you could kind of see them on the other side go, uh-oh, we're in for a dogfight, and we're going to have a hard time coming back. And our defense cranked it up, started playing much tougher against the run, and getting us the ball back. And the win in that third quarter was a non-factor, which it worked out great for us.
Let me ask you about a big moment right after Montreal's interception. The play call that got us the touchdown, when 9 people tried to tackle Devontae and Willie had the football.
Well, we were pulling that out at the right time, and Willie made a great read on it, and we felt like at some point Coach Greg did a great job calling that and saying that, at some point he's going to pull that thing, he's going to make them pay, and that's exactly what Willie did. And it was a great fake. He pulled it. We had great blocking on the perimeter, and I'll say this about our wide receivers. They got after those guys down the field. They did a great job. That's the reason why we had so many runs of 15 and 20 yards, is because those guys are pushing corners and safeties down the field a good bit. And that's what they did on that play, and allowed Willie to walk in the end zone.
Okay, and it doesn't seem, and we've talked about this off and on for 12 games, regardless of which combination of wide receivers we have out there, they all seem to take a lot of pride in blocking for that run game and the screen game or whatever we have going.
Well, they do. And, again, you talk about Shaq and how well he runs with the ball when it gets in his hands, but he had 3 different opportunities in that game where he put a corner on his back, just drove him and buried him into the ground. And what many people consider a pancake, he had it, and he loaded it up with syrup now, because, he buried him down and kept him down. But he's not the only one. You look at Thomas Lester, great blocking. Shannon Smith was great blocking. JJ, great blocking. All the way across the board, those guys take pride in what we do offensively, and it's good to see that when they're not going to get the ball, they're going to go down and block. And, one of the, I think late in the first quarter was Danico Carter's first play in the game, and he took his corner, drove him 10 yards down the field, and then gave him a left turn and pushed him all the way out of bounds. And that was a run that Vaught had for about 20 yards. So that's team play, and that's what's going to allow you to win games, when you have unselfishness and guys that want to do their job.
Well, David, a W in the postseason. That's a great way to get it started. It sets the table. Before we talk about what's coming up with West Florida coming into town, how about the Gulf South Conference? I would say, and you've been around it maybe as long as anybody, our league plays big boy football.
Yeah, they do. And, when we say that early in the year, that you've got to show up every week, and if you don't, you could be saying what happened. And we proved that this week. Really proud of Delta State winning that football game. Obviously, West Florida going on a long road trip to an undefeated, one-loss Wingate team and winning 31-0, and us obviously going on a long road trip and winning. But that got us 4 Gulf South Conference teams in this region, and that just says and explains the dominance and how good this conference is year in and year out. So for all those folks that said, why is there 4 Gulf South Conference teams, we answered that question.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty well been put to bed this year. Coach, I know you're everything's about team, but a couple of individuals with big honors announced on Monday, and that is Devontae Jackson on the ballot for the Harlan Hill, one of the candidates for that, and also Harley Vaughn, a finalist, one of the 2 out of our region, on the national ballot for the Gene Upshaw D2 Lineman of the Year award. Great honors for those young men.
Well, there's no question, and honors come with team, and I know that everybody on our football team will be proud of those 2 guys. I really hope that they have an opportunity to win those awards. I think they're both very deserving. Vaught has had a great year. I was surprised when I looked at the stat sheet after the game. He had 30 carries in that game, and I would have never dreamed that. He ran as hard on his first carry as he did on his 30th carry, and that's the kind of player he's been for us all year, stepping up when Travis went out. And then you cannot say enough about the leadership of Harley Vaughn and what he does for our offensive line, what he does for our offense, our work ethic when we go out to practice every day. He's a great leader. I don't know that there's a better center in the country at this level. And if he doesn't win that award, it truly, to me, is a travesty. I have not seen a better player at this level than Harley Vaughn, and I've seen him on both sides of the football. I mean, both sides of the sidelines.
Well, Coach, interestingly enough, you mentioned Harley. A couple of plays he had to come out. It got nicked the other day. How did we come out of the physical game at Virginia State?
Well, it was a physical football game. We lost 3 offensive linemen in the fourth quarter with Pierre Bird, Harley Vaughn, and then Des Harrison. Harley was able to come back in. He missed 1 snap. They weren't going to keep him out, and he went right back in. Des was not able to go back in. We don't know how he's going to be. It's going to be a hit or miss this week. If I were saying it, looking at it right now, I would think it's the same knee he hurt against Valdosta State. I wouldn't think that he would play. Pierre Bird hurt that knee earlier in the year and then bruised it again in the game the other day. He is extremely sore when we looked at it after the game. So those 2 guys are kind of questionable right now. Sinwan Whitehead, one of our corners and great special team player, rolled his ankle in the game, was swollen pretty good. So it's going to be a hit or miss with him. Other than that, I think with it being the 13th or 12th straight week that we're playing football, 13th straight week that we're playing football, we're bruised, we're beaten, we need a break, but there is no break. And the one thing I'll say about these kids, I'm proud of them. They keep going back out to work every single day. So hopefully we'll have them all out there. But right now, I would say those are the 3 really that are kind of questionable.
Well, in 1989, 2 Gulf South Conference teams played for the national championship, and then they changed the format, so we beat up on each other in the playoffs. You've seen it. You've been on good sides and not so good down through the years. And we got one of our Gulf South brethren, a good West Florida team, coming in Saturday. Let's talk about the Argonauts, what you saw 2 weeks ago and what you expect this week.
Well, it's just exactly what you said. I mean, they're a good football team, and they're very well coached. They're playing with an extremely great amount of confidence right now, and you can see that. They've gotten better every week, and that's a credit to their coaching staff and to their players. They're a team that we could have had buried in the game here 2 weeks ago. We were up 16-0 in the first quarter, but they kept fighting. And that catch that they had right before the half, the one-handed catch that gave them the touchdown, gave them a tremendous amount of momentum, and then lo and behold, we come out in the third quarter and immediately we turn the ball over, and they capitalized that and put points on the board, and all of a sudden they're ahead. And it was just kind of a snowball effect, and we just can't allow that to happen. We've got to be a better football team in putting teams away. But they're a team that's going to come in here with a tremendous amount of confidence, well-earned confidence, and we're going to have to play extremely well. They're a good football team.
It's holiday week, Coach. Students, a lot of them may be gone, but the community seems really excited about this football team. And I've been hearing a lot of our former players and whatever wanting reunions, and they're excited about what this team is doing.
Well, and they should be. I'm really proud of our guys and the way that they're playing, and they're playing together. We continue to grow as a football team. We're becoming an unselfish football team. I don't know if we were that type of team at the beginning of the year, and I think everybody's buying into the team atmosphere, and teams win. Teams win championships. You got to stay healthy. You got to have some luck. But bottom line is you got to have great leaders and a great team. And I think that we're starting to build that and starting to do that. And I think the Florida Tech game was big for us in doing that. And I really thought that we should have played West Florida much better. But then to go on that long bus trip and play as well as we played against a good Virginia State team, hopefully that's going to create some momentum. So, yeah, let's get behind these kids. They deserve it. They're playing very well right now. And, we represent not only the University of West Georgia, but we represent Carrollton, Georgia. And, we want to have some folks that come out here. And, we're tired of going on the road and seeing so many people in the stands cheering against us. We'd love to have some folks in there cheering against West Florida this week.
There you go, Coach. Best of success. 1 o'clock kickoff Saturday on Rayland Field. It is the quarterfinal round of the SR2 playoffs. The West Georgia Wolves, the West Florida Argonauts, And if you'll follow all week long on uwgsports.com, previews, links to the game, ticket information, Playoff Central has everything you need to know about a battle with two great Gulf South Conference teams Saturday here in our stadium at Rayland Field. Thank you, Coach David Dean. Thank you, SMI Systems and Methods Incorporated. And as we wrap up today's David Dean postgame report, go Wolves.